full time. Doing gang things, living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you, you done came up now. Get it how you live, miss the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy, could've turned out like your homeboy. Being on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had gold. Brand new you on the old time road, take care. Home where you bust your low. Black men don't cheat, screaming bomb the hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't doing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you peep these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Living super clean. That came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause you know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that wop, I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of men the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. Be help me, shout let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. There we go. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you all. I got to work on my fade out. A fade out would have been dope. It's been a few weeks, right? Has it been 2 weeks? I think it's been 2 weeks. There's been a lot going on, so we're going to talk about that. But first of all, let me introduce myself. I go by Miss Mono's World, these content creator streets, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places the content creators be. If you're not on the YouTube, please head over to our YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. You can see all of our past episodes. You can hear music there. Lots of wonderful things on our YouTube channel. Okay. Y'all, I'm sad. Nasaya TV is no more. I don't know how many of you all like knew about Nasaya TV or had downloaded the app or whatever, but it is no more. And it's kind of sad because they had a lot of good content on there. A lot of family friendly content, a lot of edifying content, and it's hard. It is hard to start your own thing, to get support for things out here. So, we're gonna keep praying for the brother. Hope that does not discourage him from continuing to do the work. I'm sorry, I had to get some lotion. I love this lip balm. So I tried to use the lotion and the body wash. Dried me out, baby. Had me walking around feeling like sandpaper. So no more of that. All right, y'all. So for those of you who do know or don't know, about 2 weeks ago, my husband was in a car accident, right? And it was pretty serious. He's walking around, so all praises for that. Like, he's not incapacitated or anything like that, but the car was totaled. He had to go to the ER in the ambulance. So that part was scary enough. Lardy, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. That part was scary enough, and he's just got some other issues that he's dealing with right now, trying to get back on his feet, but he's okay. Thank you to everyone who sent their thoughts and their prayers. Thank you for your texts and your phone calls. Please continue to keep us in your prayers. He is on the mend. He is feeling better. So shout out to him for that. And let me tell y'all something, okay? It's a conundrum. It's a conundrum having a man like mine, okay? Because he was hurt. No, I mean, we're talking about x-rays, CAT scans, MRIs. Like, he was hurt. He has a fracture in his foot. My man's hurt for real. Like, he was down bad. I had to help him sit up for the first few days. But I'm telling you, as soon as this man could manage to get up and hit the ground and keep on running, that's exactly what he did. Like, and I'm still telling him, hey, boo, you need to take it easy. You need to slow down. You need to slow down. But he cannot. And I'm so appreciative for a man who wants to work. I'm very appreciative for that. Okay. So, yeah, I just want to fill y'all in on that. Thank you so much. For those of you who sent your thoughts, prayers, and condolences concerning the passing of my uncle, thank you very much for that. I appreciate each and every one of you. On behalf of his wife and children, we just want to thank you. We just want to thank you so very much. Okay. All right. So that's what I've been dealing with like the past 2 weeks. Like, on Saturday, my husband got in an accident, and then on Tuesday, my uncle passed. So it was like back-to-back things. I was taking care of my husband, had to go to Jersey. My boys had basketball tryouts, which they did amazing at. Thank you, Larnice. Which they did amazing at basketball practice. My husband was sending me videos while I was gone. So I'm so excited for them. They start basketball next week. I think they start basketball next week. So yeah, what that's pretty much it. Like, that pretty much took up my time trying to get the house together and balance everything. It's a lot having to take on my husband's what I can do of his work. It's a lot, y'all. I was tired, y'all. These past 2 weeks done kicked my little behind. So praise be on, I'm here. Everything's good now. And so I can't open my water. Husband, if you hear this, can you please come open my water? Thank you. So, okay, I wanted to talk to y'all today about a few things, right? But the main thing I wanted to focus on was femininity, what it is, and how you can have it, display it, walk in it in your life. And this is a topic that comes up a lot, right? But I find that with a lot of our conversations these days, we don't bother to define things. Like, we always want to tell people what they should be doing and how they should be living, but we don't want to take time to define what living in or walking in said thing actually looks like. And so I want to do that when it comes to femininity, because that is something that we keep preaching to our women. They need to be more feminine. They need to be more feminine. But how can we expect them to do that if they've never been shown how to do that? And I mean, some of you may have grown up with a girly mom who is allowed to live in that. And so some of you may know, but a lot of us don't know. A lot of us don't know. And I know for me, it was a journey to come to, because I did not grow up seeing a lot of girly things. When you grow up, and my straw is gone. Okay. When you grow up in stress and poverty, life is about utility. Life is about utility. And because you don't have a lot of extra, or what they would call disposable income, which is what you have left after you pay your necessary bills, your rent, you buy your food, your water, your utilities, those things like that. So the money that you have left after you pay your necessaries may not exactly be enough for you to indulge in those extra things, right? Instead of picking a pink ruffly shirt that may cost more, you may just have to take the black short sleeve shirt and live with that. Instead of being able to buy the girl cut jeans, you may have to deal with the hand me downs of whatever you can find at the thrift store or whatever so and so gave you, right? And so I understand that income can be a roadblock or a factor in how you are able to express your femininity, okay? Um femininity comes out in two ways. Two ways. It's going to come out through your attitude, and it is going to come out through your appearance. Your attitude and your appearance. Um and now, so your appearance is the easier thing to deal with. Honestly, you would think it would be your attitude, but it's not. Um, your the appearance of femininity is one that is pretty easy to put on. And, I know we live in a society where everybody's supposed to be original and be original and be original, but that's kind of like, I want to say it's kind of like impossible, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun. I don't know what new version of human, you know what I mean, you can possibly try to come up with. So I would not rack my brain so hard on trying to make some type of new femininity or make it so complicated that you miss it, right? It is just as simple to me when it comes to the appearance of femininity. It's just as simple as finding someone with an aesthetic that you admire and mimicking that aesthetic to the best of your ability. Let me show y'all the aesthetic that really did it for me. Like, when I saw this book, I was like, this is it. This is it. This is, you know what I mean? This is how I want to model my femininity. Hold on, let me pull it up for you guys. And then this is a really old book. Before y'all get on to me, this is an old book. But when I read it, it just resonated with me. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. This book is called Fabulosity: What It Is and How to Get It. And yes, I did name today's show after it, because this was the book that when I read it kind of opened the door to the femininity that I wanted to mirror in my life. Okay. So even as simple as the colors, the gold, the animal print, if you look inside the book, there's a lot of pink and black and white. And so this is the color palette that spoke to me. It really is that simple when it comes to appearances. Find a lady with an aesthetic that you admire and go for those elements. Angelina, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. You go for those elements. Femininity doesn't have to be pink and gold and white. Femininity can be black and blue and purple. It's just about how you choose to apply your aesthetic, okay? So don't put so much stress on, oh, I don't want to look like other people, or I want to be you're going to be you when you put it on. Okay, it doesn't matter if 50 million walk in the room with the same dress. It's going to look different on you because of the way that you are formed and the way that you choose to carry yourself. Okay, so now when we're talking about how we carry ourselves, this is the part about attitude. Okay, give me a second. Yeah, I left and came back and my allergies been acting up, but my freaking my child that I travel with was sick too, so kind of gotta thank her for this. Okay. So when I was thinking about how can I define, how can I communicate the oh, thank you, Angelina. How can I define, how can I communicate femininity to someone so that they can pick it up and walk with it throughout their life? And when I started thinking about all the different things that makes one feminine, the fruits of the spirit came to mind. Okay. Now, if you look at Galatians 5 and 22-23, it lists the fruits of the spirit. They are love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance. And you might be like, what does that have to do with femininity? It has everything to do with femininity. When you are talking about being feminine in your attitude, it comes out in the smallest things that you do, even in the ways that you speak to people. Okay. And I think that is like one of the most important things after appearance, the way you talk, right? Because your appearance is people's first impression of you. Okay. And I know we live in a society now where, oh, you shouldn't care what a person looks like. And we're, I guess, not supposed to judge each other off of our initial appearance. But if you care enough to set yourself aside from the crowd, then you will take the time to care about your appearance. And I feel like that is a major factor of femininity. I When we were in school, and I know, people probably still do this today. But like I remember when we were in school and we were in I was in FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America. Okay. And in FBLA, we had to dress for success. Like once a week, we had to wear a business suit to school because we were the Future Business Leaders of America and we were taught to dress for where we want to go. You've heard this all the time. Don't dress for where you are, dress for where you want to go. Okay. And so if your goal in life is to be more feminine, then you need to dress in that direction. I can assure you, matter of fact, let me tell y'all, okay. This Friday, when we hopped on the plane, I put on my daughter's sweatsuit. She wanted us to twin in the airport. So, okay, we're going to twin in the airport. So I put on her sweatsuit. And at one point, I had changed from, I think when we got there, when we got to New Jersey, I had on my red furry Uggs. So I had on the sweatsuit and the red furry Uggs. But then I changed into my boots at night. It got cold, so I put on my socks and my boots, right? And so as we're sitting together with my family, I noticed my posture was different. Okay. I usually sit up, legs crossed, arms crossed, like a lady. But at this point, I noticed I was kind of slouched in the chair, kind of just, had my legs wider than they usually would be. The way I dressed was affecting my posture because that's not how I usually dress because I don't usually wear sweatsuits. I don't usually dress that way. All right. So the things that you wear do affect how, one, other people see you, and two, how you present yourself to others. Okay. Because if you did not know me, to see me dressed like that, you might have thought I was a little hoodlum. Like, well, what is she doing out in this big old baggy sweatsuit, slouched in a chair like that? That is how you saw me in that moment. And that is how I was presenting myself. How you look matters. When people are telling you not to wear bonnets and your pajamas in public, nobody is hating on you. We're not punching down on you. And let me tell you, when it comes to the expenses of Black women and our hair care, baby, I'm the first crusader because there have been times when I couldn't afford to get my hair done. And whatever I was rocking up under there was just what I was rocking. Or it might have been a time when I did just get my hair done. And I'm not about to take my hair down for you know how long it's going to take me to take this hair down and run to the store for 15 minutes and then come back and put my hair up. Okay? So I get it. All right? I get it. That being said, even if you do have to have a scarf on your head when you walk outside, there's a way to do it. Right? And so listen, if you feel like, well, I don't feel like going through okay. But ask yourself, is the way that you are presenting yourself to the world yielding the results that you want in your life? And it can be overwhelming to have to be on guard every second. I get it, right? Because it's hard to always think like, oh, somebody could be watching me. I always have to be on. It can be overwhelming until you just make it a part of who you are. You're how they always say the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. There's a part of you that always wants to do better. There is something inside of you that is always like, we can have more, we can do more. Let's try this. Let's reach out here. Let's find new ways to do this. Ooh, I'm curious about that. So there's a part of you that's always wanting more, but then there's a part of you who is happy to stay where you are. You are dormant and you are fine where you are. If you never step outside of your city, this part of you would be fine with that. If you never experience another new thing, this part of you would be fine with that. Okay. And so it is always a battle within yourself. But this is when you have to realize this is the kind of life that I want to live. Going to my uncle's funeral really kind of brought the sacredness. Is that the right word? Sacred? No, not scarcity. Anyway, it reminded me of how precious and how short life is. Okay. In the Bible, it always tells us life is vanity, but also enjoy your life because it is just vanity. And hey, the reward for your work is God's gift to you. That's in Ecclesiastes. I don't remember exactly where it is, but it says that the reward from your toil or work or labor is God's gift to you. Okay, so it is for you to enjoy that. And so if you enjoy pink sparkly things, then fill your life with pink sparkly things. If you enjoy gold and black, then fill your life with gold and black things. These are some of the freedoms and the liberties that you do have. So take advantage of them. You can always put it off tomorrow, but why when tomorrow's not promised? And if you don't want to think of it like that, like why would you want to live one more day any less content than you possibly could? You have to purposely decide to set your atmosphere to how you want to live. All right, let's get into the fruit because I don't want to dwell too much on the shallow part. Or, well, I don't want to call it shallow because I believe appearance matters. So I don't want to dwell too much on the appearance because I don't want you guys to think that that's all there is to femininity. But that's what your appearance is. You understand what I'm saying? That's how people are gonna label you. Listen, if I walk through a store, okay, and I get to the door at the same time that a man does, I very rarely have a man not open the door for me. Like that very rarely happens where a man is just gonna like let the door slam in my face or sit there and let me open it. They always ask, "Can I help? Can I help? Can I help?" I believe that would be, and I know that's different than when I'm looking like I just rolled out the bed and like my mama don't care about me. The reaction is different. And as much as we want to live in this postmodern, I can make my life be anything I want to be type of thought process, that's just not true. You cannot hold people hostage to the way that you think and demand that they think that way. That's not how it works. Okay. And so I had said something a while ago, like, okay, you can rebel, but don't rebel so hard that you don't take advantage of the gifts that you have here in life, okay? And so, you want to get out here on your women are equal and we can do all the things that men can do type stuff. Why are you doing that to yourself? I don't understand why some women sign up to live a harder life. I really don't. But anyway, I digress. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. Okay, so fruits of the spirit. What does that have to do with femininity, right? The the walking out of femininity comes across as a love language. I'm very careful in how I speak when I care to make an impression. Okay. Um, what that means is like, okay, even with my husband, right? Sometimes I'm more careful about how I speak than others. Sometimes when we just laughing and joking, I just talk to him, whatever. Like when we're in friend mode, that's my friend. I talk to him like my friend. I mean, I don't call him girl or nothing like that, but we talk, we laugh, we giggle, ha ha ha. But when I am in honey, I need you to do something for me, or honey, can I please have mode? Now I am more careful in how I speak to him. And I had a discussion on Threads about this. And some women feel like, oh, why do you have to manipulate your husband to get him to do things for you? And here's where we have lost the art of femininity. It's not about manipulation, okay? In the evil sense of the word, because manipulation just means I handle something. I can manipulate it in a positive way, or I can manipulate it in a negative way. Manipulation just means to handle, okay? And so I'm not negatively manipulating him, okay? But me approaching my husband in the middle of the day while he's working and asking him for money in a manner that comes across as if I'm entitled to it anyway, which yes, I am. I am. But when I'm going to ask, I'm not going to ask in that manner. I'm going to ask as someone who's putting myself in proper order, the order that we've decided in our home. I'm putting myself in the proper order of our home. Therefore, when I come to him, if I were to come to him again in the middle of the day while he's working, hey, can I get $50? Let me get $50. What is that? Who are you talking to? Really? Right now? This is how you ask? And I know what you might be sitting there thinking. And this is why these conversations are so hard, because somebody will get caught up on the fact that $50, you got to ask for $50. What's the problem? Okay, make it 500, make it 5,000, make it whatever amount you need to feel like that you need to add some respect on it when you ask for it. Okay, let's just do that. put yourself in that position. Okay, put yourself, and there are some things that are universal between women and men, right? Okay, some of you, especially if you have kids, you understand timing when it comes to asking for things. Because if your kid is asking you for something, you just got off work, y'all riding home, all you thinking about is putting dinner on and getting out of your bra and getting them in the house, and they come asking you for something. Horrible timing. No, don't ask me for nothing right now. My brain is scrambled. I'm trying to decompress. Not right now. Right. But if that child waits until you're at home in the bed, relaxed, and comes to you with your remote, your favorite snack, and a cup of your favorite drink, you know they're buttering you up. Like, nobody is denying that this is what's going on. You know you're getting buttered up. But your heart has been softened because that child took the effort to try to please you before they asked you for something else. It's the same thing when you're talking to a man. He knows what I'm doing. He knows why I have this on at this time of night. He knows exactly what is going on. But it's more than me caring enough to try to soften him up. At this point, it's some kind of mysterious magic going on and he's mesmerized. Okay. And so again, this is what I'm saying about women not using their gifts. All right. You single sisters, you be out here at the gas station or whatever, trying to get stuff done. It's a man behind the register. You don't bother to smile. You 40 on 2 and keep it moving. Listen, I have gotten free gas. I have gotten free meals. I've gotten free drinks. I have gotten out of tickets. I've gotten so many things in life just from smiling and being pleasant. Especially when you're a pretty girl. I don't I can't explain it, but I do enjoy it, okay? And so I want you all to understand that if you bother to be pleasant, life becomes easier for you. People are more willing to help you out and to do things for you when your disposition is pleasant, even at the beginning. I have been, I had this car, right? And the gas meter would not work on my car. So like I would put gas in it, and so I would know when it was full, but I had no idea. After I filled it up, I had no idea where it was at because it just wasn't reading right. And so there would be times when I would run out of gas before I figured out, okay, every 2 days I need to stop and put gas in here. There would be plenty of times when I would be stuck on the road and had run out of gas. And there have been plenty of times when I was just able to smile and get some help. Yes, there are times when you have to do things yourself. Yeah, there are times when you just have to sometimes lift that box on your own. You might have to open your own door. You might have to, like, there are times. But why that has to stop being your first go-to. Your first go-to has got to stop being, I can do it myself. I don't need nobody else. Listen, I was in the FedEx store the other day picking up a box, and they put that big old box on the counter, and I just looked at it. I really looked at the box like I was trying to figure out how I was going to carry this box. And so the man behind the counter was like, "Do you need help with that?" "Yes, sir, I absolutely do, because I'm just a girl and I can't carry this box." Now, the next day when I went in there was nobody available to help me. Like, the same dude went behind the counter, and the only other man that was in there was doing something else. So I had to carry it, but I still gave it a look very quizzically because this has become my thought process now. This is how I live my life now. If there's something too heavy for me to pick up, I automatically look around for help. Automatically. Your first your first line of defense cannot be yourself. It's not who we were called to be. Okay. And look, I get it, right? It's hard. It is hard being a woman trying to live righteously. Um, it's hard being a woman trying to live righteously. It's hard. It's hard being married. It's hard being married trying to live righteously. It can be. It can be. Because we live in this order. Okay, we live in this order. The man is the head of the household. Um, And but even before you get into that, like the woman is a weaker vessel, right? So even if we're talking about while we're still single, you as a woman are looked at as a weaker vessel. And for some reason, we have been brainwashed into believing that being the weaker vessel is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just what you are. This cup is pink. It's a pink cup. It's not a bad thing. It's just a pink cup. It just is what it is. When you learn to um sorry, y'all. Oh, sorry, guys. Okay. When you learn to remove people's connotations and inferences from words, then you can let the truth be what it is. Because we've been taught that being a weaker vessel is a bad thing. But how many times do we get on the internet and joke and talk about how good our kids have it and how they have maids and servants and chauffeurs? We be talking about ourselves, okay? But the kids got cooks and maids and chauffeurs and everything else because we're taking care of them. We joke about it. But if you sit back and look at it, why aren't you applying the same principles to your own life? Yes, I'm the weaker vessel, and there are certain things that I just cannot deal with. I don't like the way this person is talking to me. I'm the weaker vessel. Let me go find my strength. I don't want to deal with this right now. Let me go find my strength. Single ladies, if the Lord is your help, then let him be your help. Even in your relationship with the Most High, you still walking around trying to do everything yourself, trying to figure everything out yourself, leaning on your own understanding and into the arms of flesh. The Most High gave you a way and an order. And instead of you waiting for his way and his order, you decide that you're going to go out here and run around with whomever and whatever makes you happy at the moment. But then when things go downhill, and see, I guess here's the problem. Y'all want to be feminine in the physical things that matter, but you don't want to be feminine in the spiritual things that matter. You don't want to be feminine in your relationship to the Most High. You, for some reason, have determined yourself to be equal to him. And so, therefore, you don't have to yield to what he says. You're a strong, independent Black woman who don't need nobody, even God. No, you would never say that. But how is your life? Is your life showing that? How's your obedience? How's your prayer? I don't make decisions without conferring with my husband. Nothing important. I might decide what to wear today, but if the kids have something going on at school, even though I'm the one that does their schooling, I'm still going to run it by my husband. When you don't pray, you're basically skipping your conference with the Most High. You saying, I got this. I don't need this. I'm not the weaker vessel. I got this all by myself. I don't need your help. That's what you're saying when you refuse to pray, when you refuse to listen. You cannot submit to a man until you learn how to submit to the Most High, and that's just it. I'm just gonna have to keep it real with you on that. But it's the same thing I say when y'all out here picking these men. You can't pick a man who's not in submission to some kind of leader. You need that the reason for that 3-strand cord is for the Most High to be the mediator in your marriage. Because when I can't talk to him and he can't talk to me, we can both go to the Most High, and the Most High can both deal with us. But you want to skip that part and just feel like you're just supposed to have the man. And that's just a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for disaster. You're just asking for this thing not to work because you don't want to do it in decency and in order. Our job as women is to beautify and romanticize life. Okay. My I don't want to keep talking about my husband, but that is my example of masculinity. That's my example of manliness that I have. Okay. So a good husband is going to occupy himself and his time with providing for his family. Okay. He's going to occupy himself with buying his family a house, right? He's going to work until he can buy y'all a house. And then once he puts you in this house, it is your job to make it a home. What do I mean by make it a home? We walk in the house and there's hard floors, there's hard walls, there's a hard banister. When you buy your bed and your bed frame, it's hard metal, hard fabric on the headboard. It's all these hard materials. But you, as the woman, are supposed to come in and add the niceties, the area rugs, the flowers, the soft linen, the comforting pillows. You're supposed to make this environment welcoming where someone will want to be, where someone will want to stay. This is romanticizing and beautifying life. But if you're standing with him and telling him, well, I can go out and do all the same things you can do, who's going to make this house a place that anyone wants to come home to? If we both focused on the logistics of the situation, who's ever going to get around to the comfort of it? One of the first realizations that you have to come to, that you have to acknowledge, is that you do have a place in life. You have a station in life as a woman. You as a woman matter. What you do matters. The female side of life matters. Kwana, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you. We live in a world where if you're not making money for your act, it is considered worthless. I don't get paid to homeschool. The government isn't paying me. My only recompense from work is knowing that my children are being educated the way that me and my husband want them educated, right? That's sorry, y'all, trying to fix my necklace. That's what I get from homeschooling, okay? But when you look at that in terms of the economy, they would label me unemployed and of no consequence because I'm not pulling in an income from somewhere. And so we live in a world where if you're not making money for it, then what you do is not considered important, right? But these are the same people that will pay people to do the things that they consider not important. You'll pay for someone to come clean your home, but when a wife does it for free, it's not important. You'll pay for a cook to come to your home, but when a wife does it for free, for what y'all call free, it's not important. And it's crazy to me. Because nothing's for free. Instead of me being outside of the home, working that way, I'm working inside of my home, and it's not for free because I'm helping to have the home that I work in. Do you know why executives and people, once they get to a certain level, they hire a team of assistants and helpers? Because the thought becomes that them thinking they make so much more money thinking than they do doing other things, that it would be a waste of time for them to do other things. Okay. Like, okay, you take somebody like a Jeff Bezos, okay? He owns Amazon. He's busy running Amazon. He would lose so much money if he had to stop and cook his own food, because he'd be missing out on meetings, he'd be missing out on phone calls. Like, his job is so important that he cannot waste time doing other things. He has to conserve all his energy for running Amazon. When my husband and I first got married, that was the attitude I took. I wanted him to be able to focus on providing on our family so much that I handle everything else as much as I could. As much as I could. I took care of our home. I took care of our children. So all he had to do was get up and figure out how much money he was going to make us today. You cannot, nobody leads by themselves. There used to be a saying, behind every strong man is a strong woman, or behind every great man is a great woman. We get offended because why I gotta be behind him? Why I gotta be behind him? Why does it matter as long as I'm here in the picture? We get caught up on the semantics. Well, I want to be beside him. Why? Why? See, it shows a lack of power to have to display power all the time. If I have to constantly remind you that I'm important, then maybe I'm not as important as I think I am. And I'm not saying not to be appreciated, and I'm not saying that it's a thankless job. That's not what I'm saying at all. But when my husband goes out and presents himself, that's me you're seeing. I don't have to say anything. I don't even have to be in the room. But I know, because of the work that I put in supporting him as his wife, that's me out there too. I don't have to tell anybody. When you constantly feel the need to scream what you did, you are only diminishing the work that he's trying to do to propel your family forward. That's all you're doing. You think like, oh, well, I'm gonna get mine. They're gonna see me. I'm gonna get mine. And all you're doing is hurting yourself. That is totally unnecessary. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. This is not the way I was expecting this conversation to go. So let me tell y'all, I did take notes, and I usually don't, right? I usually just gather my thoughts, think about what I'm gonna say, come here and say it, do some reading, come here and say it. But this time I was like, okay, I'm gonna take notes this time, because it's certain things I think that I want to say, and child, my iPad and went black over here. So okay, all right, let me show y'all something. Hold on, where is it? Let me show y'all something. This is a book by a dear sister of mine, Tierra LeRae. You can get this book at hold on a second. I'm sorry, guys. This screen is acting up. Okay, you can get this book actually at herchosenpath.com. Okay. This is a cute book. It's for kids. Um it has different rhyming stories. It has scripture. There's even a place to have conversations at the end of the book. And it's just to help kids with their self-esteem and recognizing who they are and how God made them special. So go ahead to herchosenpath.com. Check out the book. She also has a bunch of other great products on this site. There's a homeschooling guide. She has wonderful candles and wax figures and everything else. So follow her on TikTok, follow her on Facebook. And I believe she's on Instagram as well. Her Chosen Path. Okay. All right. So, yeah, this talk isn't going anywhere I wanted to, the way I thought it was gonna go. It's going the total opposite. So that's okay. Um, I want for my sisters to all live a soft life, right? My wish is that we all could lay in the bed until 8:30 in the morning and get up and educate our children and feed our chickens and plant our gardens, and I want that for all my sisters, okay? Um, I'm aware, however, that people feel like their lives may take a different path, and that's cool, right? Whatever you consider soft is cool, right? But what I don't want us to get caught up in is the worldly image of femininity. Okay. Because when you start talking about the worldly image of femininity, now you get into dark femininity, you get into wickedness, you get into heart being a harlot, you get into even idolatry. Um at certain points, okay? And so don't feel like actually the females that the world put on display to me would be the total opposite of feminine. There's nothing feminine about having your body parts on display. There's nothing feminine about sleeping around. There's nothing feminine about committing adultery. There's nothing feminine about supporting abortion. There's nothing feminine about telling women to sleep around. Like nothing about that screams softer, weaker vessel. And so the world's femininity is often wrapped up in what you can buy and what you can afford. Because if Cardi B was acting the same way that she was acting, but she looked the way she used to look, what would people be saying about her then? Would she be the girl's girl? Would she be the examples? Would she be the one all the girls want to be like? Or would they be calling her a hood rat and telling her that's why she dirty and ghetto and no good? If Meg Thee Stallion was walking around here twerking and doing the things that she does without the lace fronts, without the makeup, without the fancy clothes and the lights and the videos, y'all would be talking about how broke down and ugly she is. You don't believe me? Look at the chicks around your way and how you talk about them. Think about it. Because the fact of the matter is, any woman is just a few surgeries away from looking like Cardi B. Anybody. You can make anything that you want. We just choose to accept that which is sparkly and pretty to us because that's what we've been told to believe is better. You can't you have to decide, choose ye this day whom you will serve as a woman. You have to decide what side of this fence are you going to be on. Are you going to serve God? Or are you going to serve money? Are you going to serve God? Or are you going to serve your own flesh? You're going to serve God, you're going to serve that man. You're going to serve God, you're going to serve this astrology chart. Choose you this day whom ye will serve, and that will determine the path of your femininity. Your overall purpose should only be to bring the glory of God to your life. And so when you as a woman decide that you are going to be the light, why wouldn't you take it upon yourself to represent the Most High to the best of your ability in the form that He put you in? You bring no glory to God when you as a woman step out here and try to take a man's role. That is not what He made you for. I write pieces, poems. I wrote a book. Okay. I write. Heck, I'm sitting here talking to you guys now, right? As the progenitor of this show here. It makes me happy when people come to me and say, "Oh, your show helped me so much. It really made me take a look at myself." Da, da, da. Like it makes me feel like what I'm doing is worth it. Like, oh, praise be. Somebody's being edified. Somebody's being fed. Thank you, Most High. How much more do you think the Most High gets the glory when you are walking in the position that you are supposed to be in and you're able to be a witness to other people? I was reading an article. Oh, so apparently there was supposed to be like some witches having like a coven at this park here by my house, and this person was going, we need to go by there and shut them down, and they can't be doing this and blah 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 blah. And yes, I agree. I agree that witchcraft is bad. Okay. I agree that witchcraft needs to be done away with. No, we do not support witchcraft of any kind. But my proposition to that was, instead of going in anger, why don't you go in love and kindness and show your light through how you live? Why isn't that your response? Okay, and it like, you're not meant to be a hammer as a lady. You're not meant to be a hammer, okay? We're more like, I don't know, because I'm not that good with tools, but you're not meant to be a hammer, okay? You ever tried to take something and use it as a hammer and you broke it? Like I don't know, you ever took like a rock or something other than the hammer and tried to use it as a hammer and it broke? That's what happens when you are not comfortable with living in your position. When Esther had to go before the king, she went 3 times. She set up 3 different dinners with her, the king, and Lord help me, what was that man's name? The man that wanted Mordecai and the Jews killed. I cannot think of his name off the top of my head, but it was 2 or 3 separate dinners. She went to the king, come have dinner with me. Why? Just come have dinner with me. Okay. Get to the dinner, nothing. Come have dinner with me. Why? Get to the dinner, nothing again. Come have dinner with me. This time, after he had heard how Mordecai had saved the previous king, this time the dinner was different because the enemy of her people was ready to be called out at this point, right? But if Esther had went in and decided, I'm going to do this the way I want to do it, and at that first dinner decided to start talking and ruined everything, there was no, then what? Are we even here? Are we here today? You might be thinking like, oh, well, the stuff I be dealing with, it's not that big of a deal, but you never know. You never know. When I ran into my husband, I didn't picture all of this 11, 12 years later. I had not pictured this. You never know who you're coming across or what potential effect they can have on their life, on your life. And I know, we live in a society where being on your best behavior and making your best first impression is thought of as a burden. But people who want more than the average are people who are doing things that average people are not willing to do. And so if you're saying that you want more than the average woman, then you have to be ready to do things that the average woman is not willing to do. Now, I'm not saying to get out here and be stupid or do foolish things. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying does not mean that you throw out all the rules of common sense, thinking that this one man is going to be your freaking Jiminy Cricket and you're going to wake up and he's going to turn into a prince or something. That's not what I'm saying at all. Okay? But going the extra mile to protect your chastity is doing things the average woman wouldn't do. I don't do dinner dates. I only do lunch dates. I can drive and meet you there, and then I can drive myself home, sir. Thank you very much. No, you will not be coming over here. And in fact, I don't think I ever need to talk to you again for asking me that. Now, it's up to you. I mean, you know. But for me, that you need to go on ice for even asking to come to my house like that. It's easy to put yourself on a pedestal and to say how precious you are when it's just you and you're not being challenged. It's easy to be fearfully and wonderfully made, and it's easy to be a daughter of Zion and a virtuously wonderful woman when you just coming off fast and prayer, when you just coming out of Bible study, when you just had a good talk with your sister group. But what about when it's you and him on the phone? Are you so fearfully and wonderfully made then? Are you just gonna go ahead and smut yourself out like common trash? Part of femininity is standing on what you believe and letting that be your God. Many of women have fallen because she gave in and did not stand firm on what she knew to be right about her God. If what he is saying and what you know to be true about God are not lining up, I would walk away. And hear what I'm not saying that you're right. That is not what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that you're right. But what I am saying is, why sign yourself up to live with someone when you don't have the same spiritual beliefs? Okay? That's what I'm saying. Now, you may need to go back in the word and look again and read again. And if you do, then let you be the deciding factor on that. Okay, let you be the deciding factor on that. It could be as simple as well, no, I'm not talking about simple things here when I come to no, it's not a simple thing when it comes to scripture. I'm sorry, because that is going that this is your belief system. This is how you govern your life. So if we don't believe that our lives should be governed the same, then how can we come together to live one life together? Okay, so no, it's not a simple thing, right? But part of being in that femininity and being a righteous woman is, okay, this is what I think. Now you can be open to other ways of thinking. You can be open to other knowledge, like, okay, sure. But if it doesn't sit right with your spirit, then there's nothing left for you to entertain. This is how things happen. Listen, we want people to love us and respect our boundaries, but we won't make any boundaries for ourselves or respect them. Because you'll get on the phone with dude and be like, I'm not having sex till I get married, and I want to do this and I want to do that, and then do the total opposite. You sleeping with him on the first date and everything else. You have a responsibility to protect yourself as long as it's just you. You have a responsibility to yourself. And I think that's a problem. Like, we aren't taught that we ourselves are important enough for us to love ourselves, for us to protect and provide for ourselves until a man comes along to do that. And the thing is, if you never learned how to love yourself and you never learned what that looks like, then how do you know when you're receiving it from someone else? Okay. Um in in trying to be feminine, fem- femininity is a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a way you carry yourself. It's a lifestyle, really. Um it's part of the reason why I wear my nails this long or sometimes longer, because it forces me to slow down. If I had my way, I'd just be doing it Having my nails this long forces me to slow down and think about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Okay. Now you maybe like, Miss Mano, that's silly. I got the idea from somebody else. Actually, I got the idea from an older lady. Okay. She told me this little trick. And so that's what I'm saying about, like, don't be so hell bent on my femininity has to be that's a kind of that's just, it's crazy. It's crazy. You have examples of femininity all around you. Don't be so prideful. And let me say this, okay? When it comes to things like appearance, like if I say, okay, we had a talk in our group chat, right? And somebody was like, "Well, what do you think of Beyonce's new hairline, the Sacred, whatever it's called?" Um, and the group chat was going on, "Not Beyonce, she's demonic. Not Beyonce, she's a witch." Da 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 da. Right? And okay, cool. But that does not mean that if I see something that I like, that I can't take it and make it my own. You understand what I'm saying? If I see a style or way that she does, like if I like her hair and I'm gonna do my hair like that, okay, I'm gonna do my hair like that. There's nothing wrong with that. This is, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to let people inspire you in certain areas without without feeling like you have to do some kind of total life transformation, okay? Um Dolly Parton. I love Dolly Parton, right? But you know what I absolutely adore about her? It's the fact that she will surgerize everything else on her body. But you know, you can't change those hands. So she wears gloves to keep people from looking at her hands to see the effects of aging. And I love that. And that is something I may adopt later on in my life. Now, does that mean I'm going to go out here and get nipped and tucked and everything else? Absolutely not. But I do enjoy that one element. So, hey, I'm going to do that too. I like that. Okay, I can add this to my. And so, what you're doing is you're just taking bits and pieces of what looks feminine to you and putting it together for you. One thing I've done here within like the last year or two is just decided on a look. I just decided on a look. This is what works for me. Listen, you're not going to see me in any wild makeup colors, okay? You're going to see me gold, pinks, nudes. That's it. You're not going to see me in blue, green. You might catch me in a red on a special occasion. I figured out what works for me. I know that, boom, even on a bad day, even if for some reason my makeup just will not cooperate, I know with these colors, they're going to compliment me and bring out the things that I want to bring out. Okay. And so that's another thing that I would advise y'all to do. Find what works for you so it's not so stressful. Look, I know what colors I like. When I shop, I go look for those colors. If I see a thing and it's not in that color, even if I do like it, I'm not going to buy it. Why? Because this is not going to match anything else that I have. I will never buy an electric green anything. I don't have electric green. That's not my thing. You understand what I'm saying? Some people have a gift and a flair for the eclectic and they can throw stuff together. And if that's you, then do that. But the key here is find out what is you, right? Um we can't be so busy trying to fulfill some type of thought moment that we forget that this is our lives. A roadblock for Black women when it comes to femininity is this idea that we have to be so strong and so capable all the time. I'm not saying that life is not hard for some people, but unplug from the TV, unplug from the news, unplug from the panels, unplug from the talks, and really just sit and look at your life. And I think that if you would silence the noise around you, you would find that your life is a lot better than what the news would like you to report your life is like. You are not the same as every woman that gets on these relationship panels and talks. You do not have to tolerate the anger that men spit out on these panels. You don't have to tolerate the negative statistics, the negative reports, the things that say things about you that you know are not true. You don't have to put up with it. Unplug from all the voices and tune into what the Most High is saying about you. Tune into where he has for you to go. Shalom, Shapeka, shalom, and shalom. Thank you for joining me. Tune into where he has for you to go. If you believe that he is all knowing and all powerful, what are you still trying to figure out? What are you still trying to figure out on your own? There's no good thing that the Most High is seeking to withhold from you. Okay? We have to come away from this image of a God that only wants to punish us, a God that only wants to make us that we have to suffer to get everything from. We have to come away from that. Everything is not a fight. Life is not a fight. Okay. Are there hard moments? Absolutely. Will people try you? Absolutely. But one thing I have learned as a woman is that you have powers that you have not realized. And sometimes if you just be quiet, you will figure them out. There have been plenty of times when I have been in situations, and again, I would just stand there and not say anything and look lost. And somehow the other person would just put the puzzle pieces together themselves. A lot of times when me and my husband are having uncomfortable arguments and I feel like I'm right. Matter of fact, I be knowing up here, like, I know I'm right about this, but okay, I'm just not going to say nothing else. And then eventually the thing works itself out. The submission of power is, to me, for a woman, the absolute flex of power, right? Because if I didn't have any power within myself, I wouldn't have anything to submit. Even you as a person, you have the power of humanism, right? You're a person, you have a brain. You can get up and think independently. You can totally decide that you want to live your life path separate from the Bible, separate from God, separate from any belief. You can decide that. You can decide that you want to be an atheist out here, not believe in anything. You totally have the power to do that. But in the flexing of that power, all you're doing is exposing your weaknesses. Because now you have nothing to protect you. Now you have nothing to shelter you. Now you have no backup system. And so whatever comes at you comes straight at you and attacks you. I don't know how many of you all watch Game of Thrones or any kind of period pieces where they deal with kings going to war, but the king never rides in the front of the battle line. He's the most valuable piece. The king never rides in the front. He's always like in the middle, behind the strongest, right before you get to the end. He's the most Why are we going to put our most powerful piece out there in the front to just be destroyed? When you take yourself out of the will of God and out of your position, that's what you're doing. You're putting yourself right in the front there of the battle line to be destroyed. When your position is back here behind the Most High, behind his angels. Heck, you're supposed to be back there praying. That's another layer of protection for you. But we've let the pride of life get to us so much that we feel like, oh, I can do this on my own, and so I'm going to. For a group of women that say that we want to be married, we have to understand the principles that are going to be in play and start working on understanding them in relation to the Most High before we can work them in relation to a human being. That's just real. That is just the truth. And even and I'm not saying that, oh, that's the key to making marriage easy, because even with that, you know, life still be lifing. But in order to have the skills to deal with it, you have to understand your position in relation to the Most High first. Once you find yourself in a position where you can submit and yield to him, and it's like it's like a shell is broken, okay? Like a wall around your heart is broken, and now he can start to pour into you those things. Now you can start to live in that gentleness and that meekness and that temperance. And what do I mean by temperance? Listen, if somebody does something to me, um, I'm trying to think of a situation that has occurred recently. Okay. There's this lady that was being mean to me when I went to the AT&T store the other day, right? And I could have chose to yell and holler at her and do all this other stuff because I feel like she was being petty. Like she was being petty. And I didn't engage with her because why? For what? Why give her that pleasure? I just walked away and went on about my business. Oh, okay, thank you. And went on about my business. Why am I going to stress myself out? Why am I going to make my day any harder? For what? I'm the one that has to live the rest of, you know what I'm saying? This is the rest of my day. That's another thing you have to understand too. And I don't think it's just with femininity. I think it's maturity. But when you walk in this behavior, it definitely exudes a feminine power. You have to understand that everybody isn't watching your movie. What do I mean by that? I read this a long time ago and it really stuck with me. We are all our own main characters in the movie of our life. Okay. The movie of my life is titled Ray Shanette. Okay. And I'm the main character in my movie. This is my movie. I see things through my eyeballs, and this is the way I tell my story to the world. Okay. Well, I have co-stars in the movie of my life. My mom. Okay. My mom's a co-star. She has watched my life, but she does not see my life the same way that I see it. When she goes to tell my story, she's not going to tell it the way that I'm going to tell it. Why? Because she has other factors affecting her perception of my story. Okay. I'm saying this to say, when you get out here in the world and start interacting with people and they're acting crazy, they're being mean to you, you don't know what's going on in their movie. Okay? They could have just got cussed out from their boss. Their boyfriend could have just broke up with them. Their dog might have just died. They might have canceled their favorite TV show. You never know what's going on with someone to make them react a certain way. Okay? And so if you're saying that I'm going to walk in my femininity now, you're saying that I'm above certain behaviors, and no matter what is going on in the world around me, I'm going to conduct myself in this manner. That is self-control. That is self-control. And self-control is like I would say, one of the biggest factors you have to have when you're talking about being feminine. That is self-control. I'm not going to let anyone bring me out of this mind state that I'm in right now. I think another reason I love period pieces is because of the examples of gentility and gentility. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. The examples of gentility. ladies being dainty, taking their time when they walk, letting a gentleman escort them up and down. So like I like seeing things like that. And I really hate that we've just moved so far from that, right? And as much as I love being Black, I hate how we'll just disregard something because we feel like it's European in origin. As if Black people as if we didn't have our own kingdoms and ways and civilizations and rules. Yes, we had those things. We may have lost the particulars of how we do those things, but look at the condition that we're in now when we've just decided to throw away all kind of manners and formalities. Look at the condition we live in now. This is what happens when you have a society without civilization, without rules. It's the wilderness. No one respects anyone. No one knows their roles anymore. Men are trying to be women. The women are trying to be the men, and everyone is confused. The poor children have no idea who to look up to. It is your purpose to live in your femininity. It is your balance to masculinity. It is the balance for your family. It is the balance for you. And it is totally possible to be godly and feminine at the same time. In fact, that's the only way I see that you can do it. Sorry. Atticus, ladies and gentlemen. Where's Paxton? He fell asleep. Oh no. All right. Well, you got something to say to the people, Ada?
Not really.
Not really. Oh, here he is, Paxton, ladies and gentlemen. I thought you fell asleep. No, he woke up. Okay, he woke up. He's up now. Can you close the door, please? All right, guys. Before we go, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here. Before we go, there are a few ways that you can support the ministry. If you like what we've got going on here, something I said touch you, or you just feel, led to help us out here, you can head over to the Cash App $ The House of Mono. Cash App $ The House of Mono. You can donate there. $1 or $2 will do. You can follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. My content is monetized, okay? So every like, every share, every comment helps, okay? Every little bit helps, please. Even if you just comment your favorite color. I appreciate that. Okay? Paxton, please, sir. Hold on, where's my other? Okay, I wrote a book. I told y'all earlier I wrote a book. My book is called Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. 8 questions to consider while waiting. It is available on Amazon. You can download it on your Kindle, or you can download the Kindle app and get it that way. Okay. So, yes, those are a few ways you can help support us here at the House of Mono and all of our ministry efforts. I did not mean to push that button, but I did. Okay. All right. So, do y'all have anything, guys? Anybody got anything to say before we roll up out of here?
Not really.
All right. Well, I hope something I said was helpful to you. Honestly, I had a whole thought process prepared for this talk. I promise y'all I did. And what I said was nothing like what I planned. But I pray that something that I said was helpful to you, whether you're listening live or on the replay. Yes, hopefully you were edified. Anything else, buddy? No. All right. I love y'all so much. Thank you for tuning in. I will be back here, same black time, same black station, next Thursday, 9:00. Sisters, if you are looking for a good sisters group chat to have Bible study with, holler at me. holler, right? Harder. Holla at me. We have a wonderful sisters group chat. We meet every week for Bible study. And then we have other times when we just hang out. Like we do sipping chats, sipping paints, snack and chat, whatever you want to call it. But we do have good study, and then we just have good old sister talk where we are able to just spill our hearts to each other, but know that everyone that is supporting you based on the word of God. Okay. So any advice you get is going to be based on the Bible, period. We don't do anything else. Okay. So yeah, if you would like to be a part of that, please just send me a DM and we will get you added to the group chats. All right. Anything else, buddy? No. All right. So I will see y'all right back here. Same black time, same black station next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, I will see y'all in these content creator streets. I am at Miss Mono's World. I love you so much. Shalom. Shalom. And
Doing gang things.
Mono.
Living super clean. Daddy came up.
One time for my king doing king things. Mommy's hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I
Tune
submit.
in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. Live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magad. Now also available on the Saya TV on Roku and Fire Stick. Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. Don't miss it, sisters and cousins.
I'm save you in the end like a Seminole. BS help me, shout let the silly go.
One time for the men doing gang
For my
things.
king.
Dead Fred to the teeth.